making a yo, what's up? I'm making a quick recommendation video. It's going to be 3 manhwa that I think are heading in the right direction. These are comics that are good and I like them, but they're not super. There's not a ton of chapters that are out. You know, anything less than like 50 to 100 chapters, I would consider still in the early stages of its story in most long-running like situations. So that's going to be the requirement for this video. But these are going to be 3 that you can check out and get in on before. Well, maybe not before, because some of these are fairly popular already, but get on before, you know, Crunchyroll decides to make a Tower of God Part 25. Alright, so let's get into it. Recommendation I'm going to give is the tutorial is too hard. It has 36 chapters, and actually that's a new chapter I haven't read. I should go do that. But this is a story about kind of solo leveling-esque world where basically your protagonist gets transported into another world and he has to choose the difficulty of the world, and the heat just came up, so now this is going to be super hissy and I apologize. And it stopped. But yeah, so he gets transported into another world and he has to decide how powerful the enemies are, and being a former pro gamer, he just chooses hell difficulty despite the fact that this is his real life. It doesn't go great. It's you know, the tutorial is too hard. XD. I don't really want to get too into like the actual, not that there's any real spoilers for this, as it's still kind of very early on, but it is extremely fun to read. There's a lot of good action. There's a lot of just kind of world discovery, as opposed to a lot of other versions of this story where it's just like, hey, I'm in a portal and there's goblins. I mean, this is a little bit like that too, but it's not like as much as some of the other stuff. So that's the first one. And recommendation is Mercenary Enrollment. This one is, I was contemplating putting this versus something else that I've also been really enjoying, but with Mercenary Enrollment, I kind of just wanted some non-isekai thing, and this is that. It's not an isekai thing, but it's like the slice of life equivalent of it, where like this former mercenary badass finds out that his family, or child soldier thing, finds out that his family is still alive and back in the States, and he finds them and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go be a kid again and be with my family and retire from this life. And it's kind of a combination of, it's a little bit Full Metal Panicky, but yeah, it's still really fun to read. It's kind of got a lot of those cool early lookism type moments where you've got, you know, super cool oppa doing dope shit, and I'm sure that's good for you if you're a girl, and if you're a guy, it's, you know, badass guy doing badass shit, and that's always cool. So that's my second recommendation. And the last recommendation is The Constellation That Returned from Hell. I think this one's less popular than a lot of the other ones on this list. I feel like this one has the worst art of the 3, in my opinion. It's, well, not that the art is bad, it's just not the popular art style. That's like, you know, very clean, very smooth, and it's a little bit more cartoonish, I should say, or it's a little bit more stylized. But not that that's a bad thing. I like it a lot. But getting into the plot, it's kind of similar to Tutorial in that there are portals, or actually no, it's not. So it's kind of similar to Solo Leveling, correction, where there are portals to another world, and the world has changed to be this society of hunters that hunt the demons and creatures and whatever things that come out of the portal, yada yada yada. However, what makes this one different is that there are these things called constellations in the world that choose people who they want to be a part of their family and give them powers. Now, it's not like dungeon, isekai, whatever that's called. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Because it's a lot more morally gray as to, you know, some of these things are beings are definitely out to hurt Earth, and it's kind of questionable. Your protagonist is this guy who just really likes doing martial arts and getting swole in the gym, and he is picked up by a constellation who says she's going to train him and take him in. And he's like, okay, dope. As long as I get to train, and the hard training is hard. She's like, it will be. And then she loses him in another world. In this kind of, and all the portals lead to this kind of like giant outer space, subspace that's connected. And he just travels the outer area, whatever, the outside, and becomes a constellation, because in order to become a constellation there's some stuff that to it, but it's kind of about getting stronger, and he manages to do it in a very unique way, and it's all about him trying to defend Earth from these other constellations that, you know, just want to take over another world, and meanwhile it's his home planet. It's really got some really interesting funny moments in it that are very much born from the main character just being like, bro, I just want to like kick shit and like punch a punching bag and cook food. That's all I want to do. And that combined with some pretty good fighting leads to a very fun series. This actually might be like low-key my favorite one of these right now, but although all three of them have been like the favorite thing I've been reading for, you know, whatever period of time. So those are my three recommendations. These actually ended up being a little bit longer than I intended, so I'll probably make another video at some point. I would do more edits on this, but my arm is really messed up, which is why I have time to make this. But that's what it is. Thank you for watching.